What exactly is the connection between tigers and cats? If you had to pick the animal in the feline family that looks most like a tiger, it would definitely be the domestic cat. And there's a reason for that resemblance. Cats and tigers are actually relatives. But what exactly is the relationship between them? Today, let's talk about the fascinating connection between cats and tigers. Before we dive in, let's first talk about the age-old legend of the master and apprentice. You've probably heard the story before. The cat was the tiger's master. It taught the tiger every skill it knew, except how to climb trees. The logic behind the tale is simple. The tiger is the student, while the cat is the master who wisely keeps one trick to itself in case the apprentice turns against it. It sounds perfectly reasonable, and it fits well with the traditional wisdom of always holding something back. But in reality, this is just an old folk tale, an allegory created by ancient people to illustrate ideas like human nature is unpredictable, and you should never let your guard down completely. Cats and tigers are distant relatives from the same feline family tree. If you shrink a tiger down dozens of times, simplified its stripes into tabby patterns, and replaced its fierce king of the jungle aura with the lazy energy of a couch potato, congratulations, you'd basically get a tabby cat. That resemblance isn't a coincidence. It's written into their genes. And it's not just their appearance. Their skeletal structures are remarkably similar as well. Both have long limbs, flexible bodies, and tails that help maintain balance. Their overall body design is almost like it came from the same blueprint. Cats and tigers both possess retractable sharp claws and powerful canine teeth. Before hunting, both instinctively crouch low, patiently gather force, and then strike with a deadly attack. These behaviors are deeply embedded in their DNA. So, are they actually close relatives? From a biological classification standpoint, they do both belong to the cat family. Domestic cats are part of the feline subfamily, while tigers belong to the Pantherini subfamily. To put it simply, their relationship is somewhat like that between humans and chimpanzees. They're relatives, but they split apart a very long time ago. Through whole genome sequencing, scientists have found that domestic cats and tigers share as much as 95.6% of their DNA. That's slightly lower than the similarity between humans and gorillas, 98.8%, but still remarkably close. It shows that they share a large number of homologous genes, which is direct evidence that they descended from a common ancestor. So, are they actually close relatives? From a biological classification standpoint, they do both belong to the cat family. Domestic cats are part of the feline subfamily, while tigers belong to the Pantherini subfamily. To put it simply, their relationship is somewhat like that between humans and chimpanzees. They're relatives, but they split apart a very long time ago. Through whole genome sequencing, scientists have found that domestic cats and tigers share as much as 95.6% of their DNA. That's slightly lower than the similarity between humans and gorillas, 98.8%, but still remarkably close. It shows that they share a large number of homologous genes, which is direct evidence that they descended from a common ancestor. But if their genes are so similar, when exactly did they go their separate ways? To answer that, we have to go back to a feline family history that stretches back some 30 million years. The earliest chapter begins around 30 million years ago, when a small animal known as Proailurus, often considered the earliest true ancestor of all cats, appeared on Earth. It was roughly the size of today's small wild cats, with a body length of about 20 to 30 centimeters and a skull only around 15 centimeters long. These creatures spent most of their time in trees and were highly skilled climbers. Scientists believe they were the common ancestors of all modern felines. But here's the strange part. After the appearance of Proailurus, there is an enormous gap before large numbers of cat fossils begin showing up again, a gap of nearly 20 million years. So where did the cat family go between 30 million and 11 million years ago? Why are there so few fossils from that entire period? Paleontologists call this mysterious break the cat gap. During this long stretch of time, feline fossils almost seem to vanish from the fossil record altogether. It wasn't until around 20 million years ago, with the appearance of a creature known as Pseudolurus, false cat, that the cat family began a new chapter in its evolutionary history. Around 10.8 million years ago, the Pseudolurus family split into its first major branch, the Pantherini subfamily. Tigers, lions, and leopards all eventually evolved from this lineage. Then, around 10 million years ago, a second major branch emerged, the Feline subfamily. Lynxes, pumas, and even the pampered little cat overlord lounging on your sofa today all belong to this branch. While the cat subfamily was quietly diversifying across Asia, a far more powerful predator was rising within the panther lineage. Around 2.5 million years ago, one of the earliest true tigers, Panthera zdansky, often nicknamed the Long Dan tiger, appeared. It is widely regarded as the direct ancestor of modern tigers. From that point on, cats and tigers officially embarked on completely different evolutionary paths. Let's use primates as an example to put this timeline into perspective. Humans and chimpanzees diverged around 6 to 7 million years ago, yet in just a few million years, humans evolved to become vastly different from chimps. Even complete reproductive isolation eventually formed between the two species. Cats and tigers, by comparison, had already gone their separate ways roughly 10 million years ago. In other words, by the time humans and chimpanzees were breaking up, cats and tigers had long since become two entirely separate branches of the family tree. So, the tiger lineage actually split off earlier than the domestic cat lineage by about 1.3 million years. Put another way, in terms of evolutionary history, the tiger family set up its own household before the cat family did. They belong to two distinct evolutionary branches. Why are cats and tigers so genetically similar, yet so vastly different in size? The truth is, the concept of genetic similarity is often misunderstood. For example, humans and chimpanzees share as much as 98.8% of their DNA, but that mainly means large portions of their genetic sequences can be aligned with one another. Within those sequences, however, there are still many important variations. Certain regions of the genome can differ dramatically, and the same principle applies to cats and tigers. Even within the same species, humans share about 99.5% of their DNA, yet no two people look exactly alike. So it's hardly surprising that cats and tigers, despite sharing 95.6% of their genes, can differ so dramatically in size and appearance. Besides genetic differences, there's another important concept called adaptive radiation. Simply put, animals from the same family can gradually evolve into completely different forms as they adapt to different environments. Their ancestors spread into different regions and faced different prey, climates, and terrains, eventually developing distinct body types and behaviors. The ancestors of tigers took the big and powerful route. When hunting large prey like wild boars and buffalo, bigger size meant a major advantage. As a result, members of the panther lineage, tigers, lions, and leopards, evolved into large, muscular predators. The ancestors of domestic cats, on the other hand, chose the path of being small and agile. Their prey mainly consisted of mice, birds, and insects, so massive size wasn't necessary. Agility and quick reflexes mattered far more. Over time, they evolved into the house cats we know today, animals that weigh only about 1%, as much as a tiger. Beyond their differences in appearance, cats also have much faster heart rates than tigers. A tiger's heart beats about 56 to 97 times per minute, while a domestic cat's heart rate can reach 140 to 240 beats per minute. Their pupils are different as well. Cats have vertical slit pupils, which are ideal for low-to-the-ground ambush hunting, whereas tigers have round pupils, just like humans. Yet despite these differences, the way they hunt is almost identical. Stalking, ambushing, pouncing, and going for the throat. The only real difference is the size of the prey. Cats and tigers both belong to the feline family, but they come from different subfamilies, so they can only really be considered distant relatives. They both trace their origins back to the same ancestral feline lineage from around 30 million years ago, but their evolutionary paths diverged dramatically, leading to major differences in everything from appearance to physiology. That said, no matter which evolutionary path they took, the fact that both have survived to this day proves that each strategy was successful in its own way. Still, there's an amusing irony here. Tigers are often locked behind cages for people to admire, while cats proudly order humans around as if they were servants. In that sense, cats may actually have ended up being the more successful species.